Hey everybody, welcome back to Bucs UK TV. It's episode 122, and this is now the preview episode. We are looking at double previews this week. As I mentioned last time, it's Christmas coming up the week ahead. There's going to be no podcasts, season of goodwill to all men, and family time being important. So this time we're going to be looking at both the Jaguars game and the Saints game. But before that, we have a prize competition wheel of names to do. So our week 13 competition every week. If you're a Bucs UK member, you already know this. If not, why on earth are you not a member? Every week we have prize competitions galore going on. Lots of stuff on offer. T-shirts, placemats, magazines, newspapers, caps. Every week, multiple bags of prizes. This one is a 5-way tie. As you can see on the wheel, we've got Lynn Casey, John Young, John Moran, Steve Gargett, and Neil Ferguson. Only one prize bundle, however. There's no splitsies, no swapsies. So good luck to you all, and we will see who is our Week 13 winner. Oh, Adam, you've not set any music. I'll try. I'll do it for you. Neil, I think.
Yeah.
Well done, Neil Ferguson. Congratulations to you. Okay, so that then brings us on to the Christmas Eve game at 9 p.m. Santa's going to have to hurry up in the UK and get a bit of a wriggle on after this. Whoever's drinking during the game, make sure you've not had too many amarettos and Diet Cokes. Jacksonville are coming to the Ray J. Now, Phil McKenzie, this is not your Jaguars team of old, is it?
No. I was just looking earlier today at some of their recent form. That they're in a bit of a slump at the moment, I think, which it is good timing for us, coming off the back of 3 wins as well. So yeah, I think we're all feeling a bit more positive about this than we were maybe sort of 4 or 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? They've been the joke of the NFL, then they've been the form team, and now they're kind of back somewhere in the middle. David, I just don't know what to make of Trevor Lawrence. I feel like he's like a giraffe sort of galumphing around the field sometimes, and then every now and then he throws a pass that really fools you. So,
yeah, he can throw the A's, he can run around and with his legs and get first downs easy, but then he can just throw crazy balls, be intercepted or fumble the ball and turn over. You just don't know what you're going to get with him. And so, it's all about us getting the pressure on him and getting him to make those mistakes this week.
so you think we should blitz him as much as possible?
Yeah, he doesn't like pressure. But it's not just that, but keeping him in the pocket. If you let him get loose, and I think this is the sort of game again where if you've got a wild running quarterback where JTS needs to deliver, he needs to be there, and that's the sort of game where we can cancel those purse out, contain them. So keep him in the pocket and get to him, and that's when he'll turn the ball over. We'll either fumble it holding on too long, or we'll make silly passes. And this is big time, really. We've spoken the last few weeks about our offense has had a lot of pressure, but not quite got there. Not necessarily got the sacks that we needed. This is the game where they actually need to deliver, I think.
So would you agree, Phil? How does the defense stop the Jaguars?
Well, I think it's quite interesting that Trevor Lawrence is not playing well at the present moment in time. He's also, I think, in concussion protocol as well, isn't he? At the present moment in time, so he's not 100%. If you want my honest opinion, I don't think it's Trevor Lawrence. The danger is going to come from Trevor Lawrence. I think it's going to come from the running backs and Etienne. I think he's a real
because
powerhouse.
the backup quarterback it says here is CJ Beathard. I have no idea who that is. Yes, but you say Travis Etienne. I also think I really like the Jaguars line. I think they've got a really good offensive line. They've built from you can tell. I think that's probably a legacy hangover from the Doug Marrone days. Shout out to London Monarch, obviously. They've always had a solid line. But maybe I think their skill position players seem to be quite solid as well on offense.
Yeah, I think so. They've got Christian Kirk, and also Evan Ingram's also a big go-to guy. He's very heavy on his tight ends, isn't he? Is Lawrence? He likes Ingram, and he likes what's the one's name now? Farrell. That's it. Yeah, both good. Because really, they were putting a lot of hopes on Calvin Ridley, who hasn't delivered really this season. But Christian Kirk has done a good job. But I'm still not convinced that if we get to Lawrence. And especially with him being, I don't want to sound too sort of morbid in this. He's been in a few concussion problems the last few weeks. I think we could, you know, but they've got to stop the run. They've got to stop the run.
Yeah, and Mr. McKenzie, obviously, I think David mentioned, about the pressure on JTS. Which other Bucs players do you think are going to be maybe most under the spotlight or have to step up here?
Yeah, I think the secondary as well. If we don't get enough pressure or we do let Lawrence unleash it, they do like a few sort of deep balls over the top.
He's got a deep ball on him. He's got an arm. Yeah,
they have got a few weapons there. So we've got to really watch for that as well. But hopefully get that pressure on early and let's prevent that from happening.
And then I guess if we flip over to the other side of the ball, David, it feels like I think we could probably move the ball on this Jaguars team.
Yeah, and this is where the run game is going to be really important for us. Keep developing that run game. And screen passes. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw the Ravens game against them, but I mean, Lamar, they got a lot of pressure through to him, but he just ran through them all the time. I don't think Baker's quite that mobile. So we're going to really need to focus on either quick screen passes, get it out quick, or keep developing and building on that run game.
So short, quick passing, run game. Phil, are we running up the gut still, do you think?
Yeah, to some degree. Yeah, I don't think we'll see as much running up the gut as we did against Green Bay. I think we'll be off the screen pass, and I think White will be, a part of that, and sort of to give Baker a bit of a sort of a out, with White at the outside. You got to watch Josh Allen though. He's a monster, that man is. He really is. 7 sacks this season, and he's their main powerhouse. Yeah, he's their main powerhouse. Got to stop him. We've got to stop him. But yeah, we've just got they're on a losing streak of 3. They've got them in a very interesting division where both teams below them have got the same record. So the pressure is going to be seriously on them this weekend to break that losing streak. And we're going into this game on a winning streak of 3. So the confidence is going to be sky high. Yeah, I think
I like that. And
I mean, so I was going to say, if you said at the start of the season, here we are, I'd be playing, what was it, week 15, and we'd be 1 game behind him. That's just crazy.
Yeah, compared to preseason expectations.
Well, expectations 3 weeks ago, to be quite honest.
I think that's true. Mr. McKenzie, you mentioned in the last podcast around, finally managing to get hold of Godwin and picking out, O'Keefe and others. Yeah, it feels each week we don't know which of the receivers and the tight ends are going to be dialed up. Who do you think you might want to try and target against the Jaguars? Who are we going to spread the ball to?
Yeah, I agree that I think Rachaad White's going to be a big player in this game. I do see Baker getting under a bit of pressure, to be honest. They did that against the Ravens, as you said, but Lamar Jackson managed to evade them, quite well. So we are going to have to get rid of the ball quickly. But we have been using White in the screen game pretty well in the last few weeks. I've been really impressed, and I made a comment on the forum during the Packers game. You get White in space, and he's as good as anybody. We've seen it quite a few times this season, and we remember obviously the big play in Munich last year against the Seahawks. That's always
that was the play that I think we all thought Rachaad White had come of age, and that was going to, and then the beginning of the year was a bit more confusing. Those of us that drafted him in our fantasy football teams, what was the point? And then this week he goes into slides. I mean, yes, okay, fair enough. Sliding was the right thing to do, but this was the playoffs this week. I digress. Yes. Of our receivers, though, I think in the past I've said, Phil, about having to try and get all these quick slants, and actually we've tried a few slants recently. They've been, by and large, not very successful. So, what sort of passing plays do you think you'd like to see?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think just try and mix it up a bit. And to be honest, I'd like to see a couple of deep shots as well, which we don't seem to have done in the last couple of games. So maybe try and get Mike Evans or Palmer or somebody over the top.
Yeah, stretch the field a bit as well. I think that's a good call. Okay, so it's money where your mouth is time now. It's score predictions. How you think this is going to pan out? Mr. Jones, let's start with you. Season of goodwill and tree growing out your head. Were you? Mrs. didn't let you put your flag up. Yeah.
I know. I wasn't allowed. I think 28-17. I think we're gonna beat them well.
Okay. All right. That's 4-3 in soccer parlance. We like that. That's good. David, score for you?
I think it could be a bit of a shootout, actually. I'm going for Bucs in 37-28.
Crikey, that'll be another fun one to watch. Yeah.
But it's Christmas, isn't it?
I know, but try and get to sleep after seeing that. You'll have the adrenaline till 3 in the morning.
Well, don't worry, Santa's coming. You'll be fine.
Yeah, that mince pie and brandy might be needed. Phil, what's your score prediction?
Bit tighter than that. I'm going 24-20 Bucs.
Okay, 24-20. So that's them 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, us 3 touchdowns and a field. So yeah, 4 all, but we win the tiebreaker. Okay, I like that. That's good. For me, I kind of, David, I think the shootout thing I think is quite interesting. For some reason in my head, I've got 31-21 in my head. So I think this is going to be the time in which our offense is going to really feel like confident and we can move the ball. And I just love that change to the run blocking to get the running game going, and the change in the passing to try and people down the seams and there's tight ends breaking it half the field. If we can keep that going, I think that'll be really interesting. Okay, people at home, make sure you hit the like button, bell, all of that stuff, subscribe, no matter which avenue you're listening to us on. We will be back in 10 seconds to talk about the New Orleans Saints game. Okay, guys, so we're taking 2 games together. They're both home games, so after hopefully beating the Jacksonville Jaguars, in come the Saints, everyone's favourite division rival to possibly play on New Year's Eve. I'm trying to think back to the last time I was in Tampa in Raymond James Stadium. It happened to be New Year's Eve. It happened to be the New Orleans Saints, and one Mr. Jameis Winston threw a winning touchdown to Chris Godwin right where I was sitting in the corner of the field. So I don't know, David, you were at that game as well, weren't you?
I was sitting there. I called it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Bomb to Godwin's coming up here, and there it was. So yeah.
Do you think we could see something similar?
If we get the win next week against the Jags, then we'll be flying. We'll be flying by then. It's not going to be a problem. So absolutely.
And Mr. McKenzie, I mean, the Saints games are never a tame affair, are they? I think it's fair to say that there's not many Christmas cards exchanged between these teams. How badly do we want it against the Saints?
Yeah, really badly. And I think that this, in the running, this is going to be the crunch game for the division, I think. But yeah, we don't like the Saints, and I always like to see Mike Evans going up against the Saints' backs. Mr. Lattimore particularly. So
yeah, let's hope he stays on the field this time, though. That'd be quite nice to not get sent off. And Mr. Jones, what sort of ramifications could this have for the playoffs, do you think? Or are we locked in at this point?
No, well, I was thinking about going back a week. The Saints are going to the Rams next week, and that's going to be well tough. I can't see them getting past that. And the Colts got the Falcons. So I think if we can beat the Jags, like Phil said, we'll be flying. We'll be flying. But yeah, they know us well. We know them well. And again, we've got to stop the run. Kamara, got to stop him.
Well, let's start with the Saints on that offensive side of the ball, because Derek Carr seems to have had a bit of a mixed bunch this year, and Kamara obviously wasn't quite there at the beginning. But it feels like they're starting to find their place now.
Yeah, I think so. I think Kamara's starting to come of age, and he's starting to find his receivers now. And I've he's starting to use Jimmy Graham a bit as well. I thought there's a name from the past, who's 6 catches, 4 touchdowns, and he's got his act together. A bit like Baker with us, it takes time to get to know, and he's getting to know his team better now.
Mr. McKenzie, do you think they're going to try it on again? Are we going to have to worry about Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill in this game?
Yeah, I know they like to throw Taysom Hill in for the sort of wildcat or trick play, and they even got us once with Winston in the playoff game. I don't think we'll fall for that one again, but yeah, it's always good fun when we see James coming in for the Saints. But yeah, as Phil said, Derek Carr, I don't think he's been sort of spectacular this season, although he was out hurt for a bit. But they're on a sort of bit mini run as well. So yeah, should be an interesting game.
Okay, and David, then how are we going to scheme our defense to try and take away this Saints weaponry?
Again, Derek Carr is a bang average quarterback, really. I dare to say it.
You've jinxed it now, haven't you?
I know.
Dave, what are you doing?
I know.
That's like Babe Ruth pointing out to the end of the stadium, isn't it? You know.
I can see this being played back at the end of the season. But I pray not. Again, I think it's been a big game for the secondary with the likes of Olav out there, and covering him up. And again, Taysom Hill always seems to have a decent game against us at times, and if he gets the ball, he's just getting to him early and getting him down before he breaks free. But yeah, I'm confident about this. We've beaten them in their own backyard already this season. I think that was a bruising they weren't expecting. And as much as I think they want to come and fight back and get themselves back on that, I think we've got too much for them, to be honest.
I think the expecting bit's a really interesting point. So I've got a friend who's a Saints fan. I say friend. Obviously, he's a Saints fan, so he's not a friend. But I think he was thinking that the Bucs were going to be the whipping boys of the division this year, and it was all wide open for the Saints to come through. And they've not had that sort of season, have they? So kind of the post Sean Payton years, it feels like it could be a slight of a bit of a drought in the Saints' neck of the woods. So I guess in terms of we've talked about how we're trying to how aggressive do you think we need to be, Mr. McKenzie, against this team?
Yeah, I think we can be. I think we need to take it to them. I mean, they've had a couple of wins in the last couple of weeks, albeit against the Giants and the Panthers, but and they haven't allowed a touchdown in the last two games, so that they've tightened up the defense in the last couple of games. But I think we can take it to them.
That's only the Giants, though. Sorry, Mariana's husband, but come on, the Giants.
Yes.
Let's swap then, Mr. Jones, to the other side of the ball. I still think this is a good defense.
Oh, very underrated defense. I always think they always cause us problems. We have to remember we don't like them and they don't like us. So that's always an impetus for any of that defense, And I know we mentioned Latimore, but we've got talent all over this field. And I think me and you have talked before about this. They're very, very underrated, and they're gonna cause us problems all over the place. If our O-line can play like they played against Green Bay, we'll be a big thing, because in Baker we trust.
Yeah, well, there you go. Stick that on a T-shirt, somebody.
David,
this front. Phil's talked about Latimore, whatever, or the secondary, but actually, it feels like, for me, I think the front seven is going to be where we need to be. And you were talking about the improvements in the O-line, David. Do you think they're up to the task? You've got Cam Jordan and people coming through.
Yeah, this is definitely a better defense than we've played in recent weeks. I mean, I think they're ranked 10th or 11th in the league. And like I say, a couple of shutouts against not great teams, but yeah, we know this is going to be tough. This is going to be a bruising battle. But again, as I say, the offense is growing in stature now. Our O-line starting to work out what they're doing, starting to create gaps. White's getting through now, making more and more yards, and we've got so much. We're developing that balance now, which is what you need to sort of play against teams. If they can scheme one way or the other, it makes it easy for them, and that was our struggles earlier in the season. Now we're sort of developing both running and passing. It makes it all that more tricky, and I think we're playing against the top defense, but I think we've got enough to start doing some damage there.
The one thing that worries me is we always seem to do well in their backyard, but they always seem to do well in ours. And that's the one thing that's back in my mind. Nick, I think, I think it was 2 years ago when James did the infamous fingers crab thing. Yeah. When they gave us a right hammering when Tom Brady was playing. And I just that back in my mind, this is the one team I don't like playing at Ray J. I really don't. You never know what's going to happen, really.
Well, I think you've got to class this as playoff football now.
Yep, it's a big one. This is a big one. Yeah, it's a big one. If we beat the Jags next week, which I think we probably shall, I think the Saints will struggle to beat the Rams out in LA. I can't see that, but it's going to be an interesting one. Could be a
and then obviously we'll come back in the new year to preview that final weekend. But of course, the scheduling gods know what they're doing these days, and that last week is always a divisional game as well, just to really keep all the permutations up and running. So it does feel like you say the playoffs have already started, because it's win or go home now. It feels like at this point.
Well, like you say, it is. We go to the empty stadium that is Carolina, and
it really was empty, wasn't it?
Oh, incredible, incredible!
They need to do the Super Bowl 55 and start putting some cardboard cutouts on the seats.
Sure, it's incredible. But the thing is, the Saints play the Falcons, don't they?
Yeah.
So that will be a bit of a cancel each other out jobby. Yeah. So it's all in our hands. It's all in our hands. But I think the Saints game is massive. It's absolutely massive for us.
Yeah, our good friend Brian Ford summed it up by: we keep winning and we're in the playoffs at home. That's all we need to worry about.
Yep, that's right. Yep.
He's already ordered the flags, I'm sure, to fill up all the seats.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so again, round it off. Final predictions. Money where your mouth is. I'm going to go first this time. I think this is going to be super tight. I think it's going to be a bit of a damp squib. I think I'm not going to predict the weather. I'm not that 2 weeks ahead, but a bit like the rain we had, I can see this being a bit of a colder game. It's obviously, although it's still a 6 o'clock kickoff, it's not going to be sort of chilly night time, but I can imagine this being a low scoring affair. I'm going to say 10-7 Bucs. I think we're going to perfectly cancel each other out. So there you go. Controversy ahead. David.
I was going for 27-24 Bucs. We
okay.
sneak it at the end with a field goal.
Yeah, last team with the ball wins. Okay, Mr. Jones.
24-21.
Bucs, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now no pressure, Mr. McKenzie, but we've all got 3-point spreads. So where are you going with this?
I'm going 20-14.
Okay, 6 points. We've covered the spread. That's perfect. So, and 2020, is there a defensive score in there, do you think?
Oh, yeah, I wasn't thinking that, but I'll take it.
Yeah, okay. As long as it's in the end zone, we don't mind. Okay, well, that rounds out our preview episode. All it remains to say is we wish all of you that are celebrating a fantastic and very Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, because it's going to be that as well. So, stay safe. At least you guys in Tampa, the game will be finished by about 4 o'clock, so you can still get somewhere. But I'm still trying to persuade my family that a New Year's Eve activity consists of watching the Bucs till 9 p.m. But we'll go with it. We will see you all in 2024, which makes me sound and feel really old. Thank you all year long, those of you that have watched us. We very much appreciate it. We hope you enjoyed it. We certainly enjoy making it. And we're just a fan club. We just want to make something for our members. Everyone else is more than welcome. Thank you, Phil. That's not a stutter. Thank you, David. And just as ever, we end by saying, go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Bucs.